Come closer. Just a little. Let the world outside soften, blur at the edges. Here, in this quiet space, there is only breath. Yours. Mine. The gentle hum of being. Allow your shoulders to relax, your jaw to soften. Let your awareness sink into the deep well of your own presence. Do you have the feeling, sometimes, that some encounters are not random? That certain moments, certain people, arrive in your life not by chance, but by a subtle, intricate design? As if the universe itself has been weaving threads, drawing lines, preparing the ground for something essential, a convergence that was always meant to be. This isn't about fate in a rigid sense, but about resonance, about frequencies finding their match. It's a sensation many of us have known, though perhaps rarely articulated. A whisper in the soul before a word is spoken. A recognition deeper than memory, yet as fresh as the morning dew. It's the stirring of ancient knowing, deep within our bones, echoing through the very core of our being. And what if, sometimes, it's not a grand entrance, not a striking gaze, not even a touch that first awakens this deep knowing? What if it's something far more subtle, far more ethereal? A delicate unfolding, a quiet revelation that bypasses the logical mind and speaks directly to the heart. Have you ever felt a presence before you saw a face? A shift in the air, a warmth, a sudden stillness that catches your breath long before a sound is made. A sense of recognition, of something aligning before any tangible interaction has occurred. This is where we begin, with the softest ripple in the fabric of existence, with the pre-verbal language of the soul. Consider this for a moment, that a mere shadow, not darkness, no, but a gentle veil, a momentary dimming of the fierce, direct light cast by another, can awaken a long-forgotten premonition within you, a stirring, a promise. This shadow isn't an absence, it's a hint of presence. A subtle, almost imperceptible boundary between what was and what is about to be. Her shadow fell across him like a promise. It is a profound image, isn't it? Not a burden, not an eclipse, but a promise, a gentle foreshadowing, an intimation of what is to come, not through explicit declaration, but through the delicate art of resonance. This shadow is not a sign of absence, but of an approaching presence, an unfolding. It is the universe remembering itself, through you, through the deep, intuitive knowing that resides within every cell of your being. It's a call to attention, a soft beckoning from the depths. Think of it, the way a leaf turns just so in the wind, catching the light in a particular way, and for a fleeting instant you remember a season, a forgotten scent, a moment from long ago. A piece of music, unheard for years, suddenly plays in your mind, evoking a landscape of emotion. This shadow is akin to that. It brushes against the surface of your awareness, and something deep within shifts. A forgotten chamber of the heart, once sealed, now feels the first tremor of light. It is the language through which the soul speaks, not in words, but in vibrations, in subtle currents that flow beneath the surface of everyday perception. It's a language of feeling, of intuition, of knowing without knowing how you know. Perhaps your own energy has felt dormant, or scattered, fractured by the demands of life, by expectations, by unexpressed longings. Perhaps the vibrant colors of passion have faded, leaving behind hues of muted longing, a quiet ache for something more. You are not alone in this. Many of us arrive at moments where the wellspring feels distant, the connection between body and soul fractured. We yearn for a return to wholeness, to vibrancy. But that energy, that life force, that sacred current, it never truly dies. It merely sleeps, or waits for the right resonance, waits for the softest of calls, waits for the conditions to align, for the inner landscape to become receptive once more. This shadow, then, is not a shroud. It is the first breath of dawn, a gentle unveiling of potential. It hints at what lies dormant, what yearns to be reawakened. It is a tender invitation, a soft summons from the deep chambers of your being, a promise whispered on the wind, stirring the embers of your own inner fire. It is an echo from a future that is already unfolding. When a woman breathes deeply, life breathes with her. Her entire being becomes a conduit, a vessel for the sacred current of creation. And when a man allows himself to truly feel, truly perceive beyond the obvious, beyond the immediate, he opens himself to the currents that flow between all things. Between a man and a woman flows not just passion, but life itself, a sacred river, ancient and ever new, capable of both gentle nourishment and powerful transformation. This subtle arrival, this casting of a shadow, it speaks to a deeper truth about attraction. Attraction is not sin. It's the universe remembering itself. It is a fundamental force, a magnetic pole that speaks of completion, of wholeness, of a longing for union that transcends the purely physical. But we often perceive it only on the surface, as fleeting physical desire, as a need to be satisfied. And in doing so, we miss the profound symphony beneath, the intricate dance of energies. This shadow is an invitation to listen to that symphony, to feel the gentle hum beneath the skin, the subtle pulse of life force within you, to recognize that desire, in its purest form, is not merely the body calling out for release, for pleasure. It is the soul singing, yearning for connection, for profound intimacy, for sacred union, for creative expression, for the sacred dance of creation itself. It is the soul's longing to merge, to expand, to experience itself in another. When energy is blocked, we don't lose sex, we lose vitality. We lose the creative impulse that drives us to build, to explore, to connect, to simply be fully alive, fully present, fully engaged with the richness of existence. This shadow, this premonition, is often the first sign that the current is beginning to flow again, a gentle tremor hinting at the release of what has been held captive, what has been suppressed or forgotten. It's the initial loosening of the earth before the spring thaw. It's a resonance that whispers of belonging, of a place where your own light can shine brighter, reflected in the presence of another. It's not about finding completion in another, but about recognizing the other as a catalyst for your own inherent completeness. A mirror that shows you parts of yourself you had forgotten, or perhaps never fully seen. When energy is blocked, we don't lose sex, we lose vitality. We lose the creative impulse that drives us to build, to explore, to connect, to simply be fully alive, fully present, fully engaged with the richness of existence. This shadow, this premonition, is often the first sign that the current is beginning to flow again. A gentle tremor, hinting at the release of what has been held captive, what has been suppressed or forgotten. It's the initial loosening of the earth before the spring thaw. It's a resonance that whispers of belonging, of a place where your own light can shine brighter, reflected in the presence of another. It's not about finding completion in another, but about recognizing the other as a catalyst for your own inherent completeness. A mirror that shows you parts of yourself you had forgotten, or perhaps never fully seen. When energy is blocked, we don't lose sex, we lose vitality. We lose the creative impulse that drives us to build, to explore, to connect, to simply be fully alive, fully present, fully engaged with the richness of existence. This shadow, this premonition, is often the first sign that the current is beginning to flow again. A gentle tremor, hinting at the release of what has been held captive, what has been suppressed or forgotten. It's the initial loosening of the earth before the spring thaw. It's a resonance that whispers of belonging, of a place where your own light can shine brighter, reflected in the presence of another. It's not about finding completion in another, but about recognizing the other as a catalyst for your own inherent completeness. A mirror that shows you parts of yourself you had forgotten, or perhaps never fully seen. It's an awakening to your own internal landscape, brought into sharper focus by the gentle periphery of another. A man doesn't lose power when he ages. He loses it when he stops looking with wonder, when he stops feeling the subtle currents that animate life, when he reduces life to the tangible, the explainable, the purely rational. This shadow invites us back to wonder, to the inexplicable, to the magic that lies in the spaces between what we can see and touch, what we can measure and define. It's a call to reclaim the sacred mystery of existence. And for a woman whose body is a temple of creation, a vessel for life's deepest mysteries, this shadow can be the softest touch upon her intuitive knowing, a validation, a deep internal yes that reverberates through her very cells, affirming her own innate wisdom and power. It is a call to open, not just physically, but energetically, emotionally, spiritually, to breathe in the full spectrum of her own power, her own beauty, her own inherent radiance, allowing it to unfurl like a delicate blossom. This is not about techniques. It is not about strategies. It is about awareness. It is about returning to a state of soft reception, of deep listening. It is about understanding that the most profound shifts often begin with the most delicate of signals. A ripple, a scent, a feeling that washes over you, unbidden from beyond the veil of conscious thought. It's about trusting the subtle cues your body and soul are constantly offering. This shadow, this premonition, is a sacred harbinger. It arrives not with a fanfare, but with the quiet dignity of truth. It reminds you that the capacity for deep intimacy, for profound connection, for vibrant life has never left you. It has simply been waiting for the right vibration, the right frequency, the opportune moment to emerge from its slumber. It's like a note struck on a distant instrument, so soft you can barely hear it, but you feel it in your bones. A vibration that resonates with a dormant chord within you, awakening it, reminding it of its own melody, its own unique contribution to the grand symphony of life. It's a retuning of your inner instrument, preparing it to play its part once more. This is the gentle pull of destiny, the subtle current of life reminding you of its ceaseless flow, its endless potential for renewal, for transformation. It is a gift, this premonition, for it allows you to prepare, to open, to receive before the full light of presence arrives. It allows the soul to stretch, to anticipate, to remember its own vastness, its own boundless capacity for love and joy. It is the universe extending an invitation long before the dance begins. Do you remember a time when you felt truly alive? When every cell in your body hummed with purpose and joy? When the world sparkled with possibility and your heart felt open and boundless? This feeling, this shadow promise, is a bridge back to that vitality. It's the universe gently nudging you, reminding you of the sacred energy that lies within, the energy that connects you to all things, the energy that is, in its purest essence, you. It is always there, waiting for your conscious acknowledgement. So allow yourself to feel it. That subtle shift, that quiet knowing, that gentle stir. It is not an illusion. It is not a trick of the mind. It is a truth your body already knows, your soul has always held. It is the beginning of a profound reawakening, a return to your inherent, sensual, creative, and vital self. Trust this inner compass. Trust the whispers. Love, feel, breathe. The energy within you has never died. It's been waiting for you to awaken. And so, we speak of a shadow, a quiet, luminous presence that falls across us, promising something profound. A subtle, yet unmistakable whisper from the very core of our being. It is a stirring, a beckoning, a recognition that runs deeper than mere thought, touching the primal pulse of existence itself. But how often, my friend, does this sacred promise remain unrecognized? How often does this delicate call, this intuitive knowing, this deep, resonant pull from within simply dissipate into the overwhelming currents and incessant background noise of our modern lives? We find ourselves adrift, feeling a pervasive sense of longing for something we cannot quite name, a quiet ache for a connection that seems to have somehow slipped through our fingers, lost to the relentless pace of time. We stand together now at the precipice of understanding why. Why this magnificent current of life, so vibrant, so undeniable, so utterly consuming in our younger years, seems, with the passage of time, to diminish, to recede, to become a faint, almost melancholic echo. We are often led to believe that passion, that this potent inner fire, simply leaves us, as if it were a whimsical, fleeting guest, gracing us with its incandescent presence for a few exuberant seasons, only to bow out gracefully, leaving behind a quiet, perhaps melancholic emptiness. But I invite you, with deepest respect and tenderness, to consider a different truth, a more profound, a more intimate understanding of this natural ebb and flow. Often, my dear friends, it is not passion that abandons us, that extinguishes its flame and departs our inner sanctuary, leaving us desolate. No. More often, it is we who have, perhaps unwittingly, perhaps out of a deep, almost unconscious sense of self-preservation, quietly left ourselves. We turn away, sometimes almost imperceptibly, from the very wellspring, the very source of nourishment that sustains our deepest vitality, our most authentic self. Imagine, for a moment, a magnificent river. A river that once flowed with an untamed vigor, its waters sparkling under the sun, its currents strong and clear, effortlessly carving pathways through the very landscape of your being. Now, envision this river gradually becoming obstructed, not by a sudden catastrophic dam, but by countless small, seemingly insignificant stones, by fallen branches, by accumulated silt and debris, gathering slowly, almost imperceptibly over the years. Each individual blockage on its own seems so trivial, so inconsequential. A pebble here, a twig there. Yet, when these myriad small obstructions accumulate, layer upon layer, they begin to choke the natural, effortless flow. Our own sacred energy, our sensual vitality, the very essence of our aliveness, experiences a fate strikingly similar to this. It is not an abrupt cessation, but a gradual, often unnoticed, stifling of what was once so fluid and free. What then are these insidious obstructions, these quiet saboteurs of our inner current? They are, in their essence, deeply personal, resonating uniquely within each of us, yet their forms and their profound impact are universally understood, echoing across every human heart that has ever yearned for connection. First, and perhaps most pervasive, is fear. A profound, often unspoken, almost primal fear that coils silently within us, a shadow behind the light. We fear vulnerability, that raw, exposed, utterly honest space that true, unvarnished intimacy demands. To truly open oneself entirely, to let another bear witness to the unvarnished truth of our being, our inherent beauty, our perceived flaws, our deepest hopes, our most tender wounds, it is, for many, a terrifying, even paralyzing prospect. We construct elaborate walls, brick by careful, painstaking brick, layer upon layer, convinced that these formidable fortifications will protect us from hurt, from disappointment, from the inevitable complexities and potential pains of human connection. But these very walls, while perhaps succeeding in keeping potential pain out, also, tragically, succeed in keeping life out. They prevent the free, reciprocal exchange of energy, the deep, soulful resonance that makes us feel truly, incandescently alive, fully present. We fear judgment, not only from the watchful eyes of others, those who may not fully understand our depths, but, perhaps even more potently, from our own relentless inner critic, that harsh voice that whispers doubts and questions every authentic impulse, every tender opening. We fear what true closeness, true merging might demand of us. Perhaps a radical shift in perspective, a profound change in our established routines, a courageous confrontation with parts of ourselves we have meticulously hidden even from ourselves for decades. And underneath all of this, often lies the lingering echo of past hurts, the ghosts of experiences that, in their painful lesson, taught us irrevocably to equate openness with anguish, with betrayal, with loss. The wisdom of the body is ancient and unforgiving. It remembers, even when the rational mind diligently attempts to forget, and it whispers potent warnings that can, with chilling efficiency, stifle the nascent, tender stirrings of desire before they even have a chance to fully blossom into their full expression. Then there are the omnipresent, often suffocating expectations of the world that surrounds us. Society, with its countless unwritten rules, its rigid definitions of what is appropriate or normal at every distinct stage of life. We are told, both subtly through media and overtly through cultural narratives, what desire should ideally look like, how it should properly manifest, and, crucially, when it should gracefully, almost imperceptibly, recede into the shadows of memory. We internalize these pervasive narratives, allowing them, sometimes unknowingly, to overshadow, to dim, to eventually extinguish our authentic, untamed experience of sensuality. We become steeped in shame regarding our natural urges, regarding the very current that flows with such potent force through the core of our being, the very current that connects us to all of life. We strive with an almost desperate urgency to fit into a predefined mold, to conform to an external ideal, to dim our inner light, rather than risking the uncomfortable vulnerability of being seen as too much, or inappropriate, or out of step with the prevailing norms. This relentless social conditioning becomes a heavy, suffocating cloak draped heavily over our shoulders, smothering the spontaneous, untamed flame within us, reducing it to a mere ember, struggling desperately to breathe. And beneath these formidable layers of fear and societal expectation often lie the deep, unaddressed scars of past traumas. Not necessarily the grand, dramatic, headline-grabbing events, but the more insidious, subtle wounds of disappointment, of rejection, of profound misunderstanding, of moments when our tender vulnerability was met not with gentle acceptance, but with chilling indifference, or, even worse, with actual pain, with violation. The body carries these memories, these imprints, creating deep grooves, automatic, protective patterns that spring into action almost instinctively the moment the heart begins to tentatively open again. Then, there are the omnipresent, often suffocating expectations of the world that surrounds us. Society, with its countless unwritten rules, its rigid definitions of what is appropriate or normal at every distinct stage of life. We are told, both subtly through media and overtly through cultural narratives, what desire should ideally look like, how it should properly manifest, and, crucially, when it should gracefully, almost imperceptibly, recede into the shadows of memory. We internalize these pervasive narratives, allowing them, sometimes unknowingly, to overshadow, to dim, to eventually extinguish our authentic, untamed experience of sensuality. We become steeped in shame regarding our natural urges, regarding the very current that flows with such potent force through the core of our being, the very current that connects us to all of life. We strive with an almost desperate urgency to fit into a predefined mold, to conform to an external ideal, to dim our inner light, rather than risking the uncomfortable vulnerability of being seen as too much or inappropriate or out of step with the prevailing norms. This relentless social conditioning becomes a heavy, suffocating cloak draped heavily over our shoulders, smothering the spontaneous, untamed flame within us, reducing it to a mere ember, struggling desperately to breathe. And beneath these formidable layers of fear and societal expectation often lie the deep, unaddressed scars of past traumas. Not necessarily the grand, dramatic, headline-grabbing events, but the more insidious, subtle wounds of disappointment, of rejection, of profound misunderstanding, of moments when our tender vulnerability was met not with gentle acceptance, but with chilling indifference, or, even worse, with actual pain, with violation. The body carries these memories, these imprints, creating deep grooves, automatic, protective patterns that spring into action almost instinctively the moment the heart begins to tentatively open again. They whisper a chilling refrain. Be careful. Don't go there again. It's not safe. You will be hurt. These unhealed places within us become silent, vigilant guardians, standing perpetually at the gate, blocking the path to genuine, unencumbered connection. They instill in us a deep-seated belief that the promise, the radiant shadow, the deep calling is simply not meant for us, that we are somehow unworthy or incapable of experiencing such profound joy, such ecstatic union. We also possess a peculiar, almost academic, tendency to rationalize our feelings, to take the sacred, intuitive, profoundly mysterious language of desire and subject it to the cold, often sterile, hard logic of the analytical mind. We dissect it, we analyze it, we intellectualize its every nuance until its very essence, its vibrant life force, slowly evaporates, like dew beneath a harsh sun. We incessantly ask, why do I feel this way? Is it logical? Is it practical? What are the pros and cons? What are the implications? Instead of simply allowing ourselves the profound grace of feeling it, of experiencing it in its raw, unfiltered form. This relentless overthinking, this incessant, often anxious mental chatter acts like a dense, impenetrable fog, obscuring the delicate, ethereal signals of the soul. We reduce the vast, cosmic mystery of human connection, of ecstatic union, to a series of detached psychological, and so we arrive at the threshold of understanding, where the mere surface of things begins to shimmer, revealing deeper currents beneath. When her shadow falls across you, what is that truly? Is it merely the absence of light, a simple blocking of the sun? Or is it something far more profound, a whisper from the ancient depths, a promise woven into the very fabric of existence? Consider this for a moment. That momentary eclipse, that fleeting impression, is not merely an outline. It is an invitation to recognize a presence that transcends the physical form, to feel a resonance that speaks to something primal within you. It is a recognition, isn't it? A deep cellular understanding of a life force that mirrors your own, a creative potential that seeks connection, a shared resonance that vibrates through the very air. We often speak of attraction as a simple, almost animalistic pull, a chemical reaction, a fleeting desire. But what if it is more? What if it is the universe itself remembering its own vastness, its own intricate design through the delicate dance of two souls? Between a man and a woman flows not just passion, but life itself. Yes, life itself. Not merely the spark that ignites procreation, but the very current of creation that flows through all things. It is the pulse of the earth, the rhythm of the stars, the silent hum that underlies every waking moment. When you feel that pull, that inexplicable draw, it is not merely the body calling out for another. It is something far grander. It is the soul stirring, recognizing its counterpart, its echo, its mirror in the intricate tapestry of being. Have you ever felt it? That sensation of another's presence awakening something long dormant within you. A wellspring of inspiration, a surge of vitality, a deep, quiet knowing that suddenly the world feels more vibrant, more alive. This is the promise that the shadow brings. Not a promise of possession, but of aliveness. A reminder that within each of us resides an inexhaustible spring of creative energy, waiting to be acknowledged, waiting to be shared. We are taught, perhaps, to view desire with suspicion, to see it as a base instinct, a temptation to be resisted. But what if this perception has diminished us? What if, in our attempts to control or deny this fundamental force, we have inadvertently diminished our own capacity for joy, for connection, for the very essence of life? Attraction is not sin. It's the universe remembering itself. Think of it, the grand cosmic dance, the gravitational pull between celestial bodies, the intricate balance of elements. All are forms of attraction, forces that bring things together, that create new forms, new possibilities. And so it is with us. When you feel drawn to another, it is not a flaw in your character. It is the universe expressing its fundamental nature through you. It is the deep memory of unity, of wholeness, playing out in the human heart. This isn't about fleeting infatuation. It's about the profound recognition of vitality, of a shared current of inspiration. It's about a deep, soulful acknowledgement that transcends words, a silent agreement between two beings that they are meant to interact, to co-create, to experience the richness of existence together. This sacred current, this undeniable flow, is what enlivens everything. It's the energy that paints the sunrise, that pushes the sap through the trees, that causes the heart to beat with unwavering rhythm. And it flows between us too. When a woman breathes deeply, life breathes with her. And in that shared breath, in that shared moment of simply being, a man can feel the very essence of life affirming itself, not just within her, but within him, and between them. It is a recognition of the inherent sacredness in every breath, every pulse, every unspoken connection. What happens when this energy, this life force, is denied or suppressed? When we build walls around our hearts, when we fear the depth of our own feelings, when we misinterpret the sacred for the profane. When energy is blocked, we don't lose sex, we lose vitality. We lose the vibrant hues of our world. The music fades. The inspiration wanes. We become disconnected, not just from others, but from ourselves. The wellspring of creativity begins to dry. The joy of simply being becomes elusive. We mistake the symptom for the cause. It is not sex that is lost in its truest, most expansive sense. It is the very current of aliveness that sustains us. This is why understanding desire is so crucial. It is not a mere craving, a fleeting urge to be sated and then forgotten. It is far, far more. Desire is the language through which the soul speaks. It is the soul's yearning for connection, for expression, for the divine dance of creation. When we feel desire, it is not a weakness. It is the soul singing, articulating its deepest longings, its fundamental need to merge, to expand, to create. It is a sacred calling, a gentle whisper from the core of our being, urging us towards greater wholeness, greater truth. Think of an artist compelled to create, a musician driven to compose, a dancer moved to express. This is desire, isn't it? A profound urge to bring something into being, to share an inner landscape with the outer world. And so it is with the desire that flows between people. When a woman breathes deeply, life breathes with her. And in that shared breath, in that shared moment of simply being, a man can feel the very essence of life affirming itself, not just within her, but within him and between them. It is a recognition of the inherent sacredness in every breath, every pulse, every unspoken connection. What happens when this energy, this life force, is denied or suppressed? When we build walls around our hearts, when we fear the depth of our own feelings, when we misinterpret the sacred for the profane. When energy is blocked, we don't lose sex, we lose vitality. We lose the vibrant hues of our world. The music fades, the inspiration wanes. We become disconnected, not just from others, but from ourselves. The wellspring of creativity begins to dry. The joy of simply being becomes elusive. We mistake the symptom for the cause. It is not sex that is lost, in its truest, most expansive sense. It is the very current of aliveness that sustains us. This is why understanding desire is so crucial. It is not a mere craving, a fleeting urge to be sated and then forgotten. It is far, far more. Desire is the language through which the soul speaks. It is the soul's yearning for connection, for expression, for the divine dance of creation. When we feel desire, it is not a weakness. It is the soul singing, articulating its deepest longings, its fundamental need to merge, to expand, to create. It is a sacred calling, a gentle whisper from the core of our being, urging us towards greater wholeness, greater truth. Think of an artist compelled to create, a musician driven to compose, a dancer moved to express. This is desire, isn't it? A profound urge to bring something into being, to share an inner landscape with the outer world. And so it is with the desire that flows between people. It is the soul seeking to express its own boundless capacity for love, for beauty, for shared existence. Many believe that as we age, this energy diminishes, that the fire cools, the passion fades, and we are left with only echoes of what once was. But this is a misconception. A man doesn't lose power when he ages. He loses it when he stops looking with wonder. And a woman doesn't lose her allure with time. She loses it when she stops feeling the sacred current within her, when she forgets the song of her own soul. This energy, this profound connection, does not diminish with years. It matures, it deepens, it becomes richer, more nuanced, more resonant. What may change is our perception of it, our willingness to look with wonder, to listen with an open heart, to feel with every fiber of our being. The challenge is not to reclaim lost youth, but to rediscover the timeless wellspring of vitality that resides within us, always. To strip away the layers of societal expectation, of past hurts, of self-judgment, and to simply be with the raw, beautiful current of life. The shadow, then, is not a darkness to be feared, but a silhouette that defines the light. It is a reminder that beyond the visible, beyond the tangible, lies an ocean of potential, of connection, of shared spirit. It is the promise of becoming more fully alive, more fully ourselves, through the sacred interplay of energies that flow between us. It is the realization that the desire for connection is not a superficial whim, but a fundamental expression of the life energy that powers the universe. It is the universe inviting itself to know itself through us, through our touch, our gaze, our shared breath. It is a recognition that when two beings truly meet, something new is born. A spark of creation, a healing balm, a deepening of understanding that enriches not just their lives, but the very fabric of existence. This is the true nature of the promise that falls like a shadow, a quiet, undeniable testament to the eternal current of life, flowing through and between us always. Love, feel, breathe. The energy within you has never died. It's been waiting for you to awaken. We speak of a promise, don't we? That quiet, unshakable knowing, a whisper from the deepest part of you that life holds more connection, more joy, more of that vital, sacred current that flows between two souls, or even within the solitary landscape of your own being. Perhaps, for a time, that promise has felt distant, covered by the dust of daily demands, obscured by expectations, or dimmed by a subtle, creeping fear. The fear of not being enough, the fear of vulnerability, the fear that what once burned brightly has now faded into embers. But what if the path back to that promise is not a path of striving, not a path of doing or forcing, but simply of being? What if the key lies not in acquiring new techniques, but in shedding old armor? In remembering a language your body already knows, but your mind has perhaps forgotten how to interpret? Let us begin with presence, a gentle, unwavering presence that holds no judgment, only quiet observation. Imagine, for a moment, that your body is not merely a vessel for your mind, but a wise, ancient guide. It holds memories, not just of touch and sensation, but of the very pulse of life itself. And this guide speaks to you, not in words, but in whispers of feeling, in the subtle shifts of energy within you. Slow down, just for a moment. Feel the weight of your own body, wherever you are. The soft pressure against the chair, the bed, the ground beneath your feet. Feel the air on your skin. Listen to the quiet symphony of your own internal landscape. This is where the journey begins. Not out there with another, but within the sacred temple of your own skin. Your breath, it is the most profound connection to this moment, to this life. When we breathe shallowly, we hold back a part of ourselves. We create tiny dams in the river of our own energy. But when you allow your breath to deepen, to fill your lungs completely, to expand your diaphragm, you are inviting life in. You are declaring your readiness to receive. Observe a woman when she truly lets go, when she allows herself to be fully present, fully open. Her breath becomes a deep, resonant wave, moving through her entire being. It is an ancient rhythm, and in that rhythm, something profound happens. When a woman breathes deeply, life breathes with her. The current within her, the very essence of her feminine power, awakens and flows. It is not an act of will, but an act of surrender, a profound acceptance of the life force that animates her. And for a man, his journey into presence is equally vital. There's a common misconception that power is found in outward strength, in achievement, in control. But true power, the kind that truly draws and inspires, stems from an inner wellspring of wonder, from the ability to truly see, truly feel, truly appreciate. A man doesn't lose power when he ages. He loses it when he stops looking with wonder, when he stops seeing the miracle in a leaf, the beauty in a woman's eyes, the profound mystery in a simple touch. When he closes himself off to the exquisite unfolding of life, he diminishes his own vital current. This energy, this life force, it is not something to be managed or controlled. It is a river meant to flow. And when that river is blocked, whether by fear, by old wounds, by unexpressed emotions, or by the rigid armor we wear to protect ourselves, the consequence is not merely a lack of intimacy in the bedroom. It is far deeper. When energy is blocked, we don't lose sex, we lose vitality. We lose our spark, our creativity, our zest for life itself. We become disconnected from the very source of our being. The path back, then, is one of unwinding, of releasing, of allowing. It is about trusting the subtle pulls, the quiet beckonings of your own internal compass. Desire is the language through which the soul speaks. It is not merely a physical craving. It is a profound yearning for connection, for expansion, for the full expression of who you are. To deny it, to suppress it, is to silence a part of your soul's song. And what about attraction? That magnetic pull, that undeniable recognition between two beings. Is it something to be ashamed of? To be judged? No. It is far more ancient, far more sacred than our modern world often allows us to believe. Attraction is not sin. It's the universe remembering itself. It is the echo of creation, the dance of polarity, the deep, resonant call of one soul to another, or even of your own soul calling you back to wholeness. It is a signpost, a signal that something profound is ready to unfold. To reconnect with this promise, then, is to become a vessel, a sacred chalice, open and ready to receive. It means letting go of the need for an outcome, letting go of the script you might have written in your head. It means being present with whatever arises, without judgment, without expectation. To simply be with the sensation, the feeling, the energy as it moves through you. This is a journey into your own forgotten sensitivity, a return to the exquisite awareness you possessed as a child, before the world taught you to harden, to protect, to shut down. It is about listening to the quiet call of your intuition, rather than forcing a loud demand. It is about recognizing that desire is not the body calling, it is the soul singing. And its song is one of beauty, of connection, of profound life-affirming energy. Between a man and a woman, when two beings open themselves to this flow, when they become present, vulnerable, and truly accepting of themselves and each other, something extraordinary unfolds. Between a man and a woman flows not just passion, but life itself. It is a co-creation, a merging of currents that transcends the physical, touching the very essence of existence. It is sacred. It is healing. It is the very heart of creation. So, let your breath be your guide. Let your body be your wise teacher. Allow yourself to feel deeply and completely without fear or judgment. Trust that the energy within you is perfect, pure, and eternally present. It has simply been waiting for your gentle, conscious invitation to awaken and flow. Love, feel, breathe. The energy within you has never died. It's been waiting for you to awaken. And so, we find ourselves at the heart of this quiet journey, a journey not outwards, but deep within. Remember that initial whisper, that subtle presence, that sense of a shadow falling across you? It was never a threat, was it? It was, in truth, a gentle invitation, a soft beckoning to remember something profound, something primal, something you've always known but perhaps forgotten how to name. That shadow, my friend, was a promise whispered from the deepest chambers of your own being, a truth patiently waiting to be recognized, embraced, and lived. It was the universe remembering itself through you, calling you back to the vibrant current of life that flows eternally. We often perceive energy, especially sensual energy, as something external, something we chase or lose. But what if it is simply the very essence of who we are? A wellspring, not a fleeting stream. The path we've walked together, from that first flicker of recognition to this moment of conscious acceptance, has been about peeling back the layers of fear, of doubt, of societal whispers that sought to diminish this magnificent power. When we stop fearing our own power, life begins to flow again. It's a simple truth, yet its implications are vast. We tend to build walls around what we deem dangerous or uncontrollable, and for many, this creative, passionate, life-giving energy feels precisely that way. But what if those walls are not protecting us, but merely isolating us from our own vitality? The current that flows between a man and a woman is not just passion, though passion is a beautiful facet of it. It is life itself. It is the raw, creative force that sculpts mountains, births stars, and whispers new ideas into existence. To deny it, to block it, is not merely to lose physical desire, it is to lose vitality itself. When energy is blocked, we don't lose sex, we lose life. We lose the sparkle in our eyes, the spring in our step, the spontaneous joy that reminds us we are truly alive. Think of desire not as a carnal craving, but as a profound language. Desire is the language through which the soul speaks. It is the soul singing, yearning for connection, for creation, for a deeper experience of being. When this song is stifled, when its notes are muted, a quiet sadness settles in. A longing for something unnamed, something lost. Attraction is not sin. It's the universe remembering itself. It is the recognition of resonant frequencies, a magnetic pole that speaks of ancient connections, of the dance of polarity that gives rise to all existence. To dismiss it, to judge it, is to deny a fundamental principle of creation. It is to deny the very current that seeks to flow through us, to express itself as love, as art, as healing. Perhaps you've felt that quiet sadness, that sense of disconnection. Perhaps you've longed for the days when passion felt effortless, when intimacy was a natural breath. This longing is not a weakness, it is a sign that the wellspring within you is stirring, asking for your attention, for your gentle touch. It is asking you to remember that a man doesn't lose power when he ages. He loses it when he stops looking with wonder. He loses it when he stops feeling the subtle currents, when he stops honoring the sacred dance of life within him. And for a woman, when she breathes deeply, life breathes with her. Her energy is not depleted with time, but rather it ripens, deepens, becoming a richer, more potent source of wisdom and grace. It's about cultivating that deep breath, that conscious awareness, that gentle allowing. This energy, this beautiful sacred force, has never truly faded. It has simply been waiting for your conscious embrace, waiting for you to release the fears, to shed the old stories, and to step into the fullness of who you are. It's a return, not a new beginning, a remembering, not a learning. Allow this understanding to settle deep within you, like a warm, comforting presence. Feel it resonate in your bones, in the quiet hum of your being. The promise that Shadow carried was always within you, always available. It is the promise of wholeness, of vibrancy, of a life lived in harmony with your deepest, most authentic self. Love, feel, breathe. The energy within you has never died. It's been waiting for you to awaken.